Good morning, America. The video of Rob Reiner's son taken into custody, tracking the cross-country storm, plus a different kind of mama bear. New video shows Rob Reiner's son taken into custody moments after he was seen inside a gas station. Nick Reiner now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
These are some of the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring against anyone.
New details about how the director and his wife Michelle were found by their daughter. Plus what Nick's high-profile defense attorney said to cameras.
He has not yet been medically cleared.
And the new message from Rob and Michelle's close friends, including Billy Crystal.
Cross-country storm intensifies. With millions already on alert for deadly flooding, rivers rising in the Pacific Northwest. As another round of heavy rain pummels the hard-hit region, Ginger is tracking it all, plus the good news for Christmas week.
New video in the manhunt for the Brown University shooter, showing the person of interest hours before the deadly rampage.
We believe that he was actually casing out this area to commit the crime.
Plus breaking news from MIT, the search for a professor's killer, students in shock after he was shot in his home right outside Boston.
Turning up the pressure on Venezuela. Overnight, President Trump announcing what he calls a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going to and from the country, potentially crippling the economy.
Window into the West Wing. This morning, what the president is saying about his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, after her rare, candid interview. Wiles said President Trump has an alcoholic's personality, and that Attorney General Pam Bondi completely whiffed on the Epstein files, sharing new details about the investigation, including what she said about President Trump and Epstein's plane.
Sparks flying. The wild end to a high-speed police chase involving a stolen Ferrari.
And the Knicks in a confetti wonderland.
Brunson shifting gears and switching hands. Jalen Brunson is crafty.
New York knocking out a huge win overnight. Plus, why this mama bear is winning the morning. She is the coolest.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America.
Michael bringing us the most heartwarming story of the morning. Hope your morning's off to a good start. Good morning to all of you.
Yeah, good morning. Don't mess with the mama bear. Coming up on this busy Wednesday, we are breaking down everything you need to know ahead of the holidays with flu numbers on the rise.
But we are going to begin with the latest in the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner. Their son Nick has now formally been charged with their murders, charges that carry the possibility of the death penalty if he's convicted. Trevor Ault is in Los Angeles with more for us. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Michael, and it is likely that today Nick Reiner will make his first court appearance since he's been accused of murdering his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. The DA issuing that pair of first-degree murder charges as we're now seeing new video of the moment Nick Reiner was taken into custody only hours after his parents were found dead.
This morning, we're seeing new video of the moment Nick Reiner, son of director Rob Reiner, was taken into custody. Reiner seen with his hands in the air, LAPD officers and U.S. Marshals swarming into that intersection, putting Reiner on the ground and handcuffing him. Just moments before, this new video shows him inside a gas station, the scene playing out just hours after his parents were found stabbed to death. And the Los Angeles District Attorney has now charged Nick Reiner with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
These are some of the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring against anyone.
The DA says Nick Reiner killed his parents with a knife. Sources say Romy Reiner, the daughter of Rob and his wife Michelle, found the couple dead at their home Sunday with stab wounds. According to the New York Times, a massage therapist called Romy when no one answered at the Reiners' home. Romy then came over with her roommates, went inside, and found her father's body. Earlier this morning, we spoke to longtime Reiner family friend Barry Markowitz, who worked as cinematographer on their film Being Charlie. He says he stayed with the family just 3 weeks ago.
Nick looked good the last time I was there, and he was on the upswing.
Nick has now hired high-profile defense attorney Alan Jackson, who said Tuesday Nick Reiner has not yet been medically cleared for court.
Every single inmate goes through a medical clearance before they can be transported to court. Every one of them.
Okay.
And that's a process. It's just a procedural issue. And he has not yet been medically cleared.
Sources say Saturday night, Nick Reiner and his father got into an argument at Conan O'Brien's holiday party, where Nick was described as acting strangely. Reiner's been open about his longtime battle with drug addiction, previously estimating he's been to rehab at least 18 times. A memorial has now been set up on his father's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And overnight, the couple's close friends, including Billy Crystal, Martin Short, and Larry David, calling Rob and Michelle a special force together, saying in a statement to the Associated Press, "There's a line from one of Rob's favorite films, It's a Wonderful Life. Each man's life touches so many other lives, and when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he? You have no idea."
And the district attorney has not revealed what sentence they would hope to pursue in this case. But if convicted of those 2 first-degree murder charges, Nick Reiner could potentially face life in prison without parole or even possibly the death penalty. George.
Okay, Trevor, thanks. We're going to turn now to the manhunt for the Brown University shooter, still on the loose after killing 2 people, wounding 9 others. Officials released new enhanced images of the suspected gunman. Matt Rivers is in Providence, Rhode Island with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, George. Authorities set to spend the day scouring this entire area once again for any clues as to where that alleged shooter may have escaped to, once again asking for the public's help to try and track him down.
This morning, newly released surveillance videos, including enhanced images, show the alleged Brown University mass shooter near campus hours before the deadly rampage. The FBI describing the individual as a male, approximately 5'8", with a stocky build.
You want to focus on the body movements, the way the person moved their arms, the body posture.
Investigators using these videos to build a timeline. They say he may have been in the area as early as 10 a.m. Saturday morning. At 2:18 p.m., the man seen walking past this home, moments later running down the street. At 2:53 p.m., the man crossing the street with a distinctive walk. It was shortly after 4 p.m. when police say the suspect interrupted a lecture hall with a hail of gunfire. Minutes later, the man spotted walking away from the scene before police arrive. 7 people remain hospitalized, 1 critical. The president of Brown University paying tribute to the 2 students who lost their lives, Ella Cook and Mohammed Aziz Umarzakov, calling them both brilliant and beloved. Mohammed's younger sister remembering her brother lovingly in an interview with CNN.
He was the most kind-hearted, funny. He always helped someone before he helped himself, without any hesitation.
Overnight, a community in mourning.
You have a community trying to heal. You also have a community that's dealing with this ongoing situation.
For people of faith, our response is to pray and to try and move us forward out of the house of fear and into the house of love.
And so at the same time, you have this community here even trying to begin to just start to heal. It makes it so much harder to do with the fact that this alleged shooter is still out there. Rebecca, this entire community hoping for an arrest soon.
Yes, so very difficult there. Okay, Matt, thank you. We're going to turn now to the White House raising its pressure campaign on Venezuela. President Trump announcing a blockade on all sanctioned oil tankers going to and from the country. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has more. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Rebecca. And this escalation is intended to inflict economic pain on Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. President Trump announcing a, quote, complete blockade on all sanctioned oil tankers. But it's not clear this morning how many tankers this could affect or what the true economic impact will be. 1 week after the U.S. seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, this morning President Trump going even further, escalating his pressure campaign against Venezuela's authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro, announcing what he calls a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going to and from Venezuela. A full blockade is an act of war under international law, but Trump saying he only wants to block sanctioned oil. Trump also saying he's designating the Venezuelan government as a foreign terrorist organization, a step that legally would have to be taken by the State Department, and accusing Maduro of using the country's vast oil fields to enrich himself and his administration. Last week's seizure marked the first time the U.S. had overtly interfered with Venezuela's oil experts. Overnight, the Venezuelan government responding to Trump's latest escalation, calling his threat to impose a blockade reckless and a violation of international law. saying in a statement the President of the United States intends to impose in an absolutely irrational manner a supposed naval military blockade on Venezuela with the objective of stealing the wealth that belongs to our homeland. For months, the Trump administration has been increasing its operation in the Caribbean, amassing the largest military presence in decades, including the world's largest aircraft carrier. The Pentagon striking 25 alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing at least 95 people without providing any public evidence or identifying those killed. The administration has insisted this campaign is about stemming the flow of drugs. But in a series of shockingly candid interviews with Vanity Fair, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles blunt in suggesting this may really be about regime change. Wiles saying the president wants to keep on blowing up boats until Maduro cries uncle. And people way smarter than me on that say that he will. And lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have expressed concerns about the legality of this campaign and that it could be dragging the U.S. into another war. And again, a full blockade would be an act of war that would require congressional approval. But President Trump seems to be trying to avoid that by targeting only sanctioned oil, making this more of a quarantine than a true blockade, George.
Mary Bruce, thanks. Let's get more now on the explosive comments from Susie Wiles. Despite the damaging assessments of the president, the vice president, and top cabinet officials in Vanity Fair, the president and his team are circling the wagons around Wiles. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is at the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. Yes, the White House really trying to contain the fallout from this one. Susie Wiles is the president's most trusted aide, his closest advisor. She rarely does interviews, mostly out of the spotlight, but she opens up with Vanity Fair in a series of 11 interviews about the president and the advisors around him. This morning, President Trump is standing by his White House chief of staff after a series of striking interviews with Vanity Fair. Susie Wiles providing a rare window into the West Wing, describing the president as having an alcoholic's personality, saying Trump, who does not drink, operates with a view that there's nothing he can't do. Nothing, zero, nothing. Then going on to label Vice President J.D. Vance a conspiracy theorist for a decade, describing his transformation from Trump critic to supporter as sort of political. Vance brushing it off.
Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true.
And this morning, the president dismissing the comments, too. In an interview with the New York Post saying, I don't drink alcohol, so everybody knows that, but I've often said that if I did, I'd have a very good chance of being an alcoholic. I've said that many times about myself, I do. It's a very possessive personality. But Wiles also comments on the president's cabinet, criticizing Attorney General Pam Bondi, saying she completely whiffed the Justice Department's response to the onslaught of demands calling for the release of files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Wiles telling Vanity Fair she read the Epstein file and that Trump is in it, but she says not doing anything awful. Wiles said that Trump was on Epstein's plane. He's on the manifest, saying they were, sort of young single whatever. I know it's a passé word, but sort of young single playboys together. As the controversy surrounding Epstein swirled for months, President Trump has fought efforts to release the Epstein files and ordered the Justice Department to investigate Epstein's relationship with Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton.
I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
But Wiles says there is no evidence Clinton ever visited Epstein's private island and that the president was wrong when he suggested the files include incriminating information on Clinton. The president has publicly pressured his own attorney general to prosecute his perceived political rivals, like former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Prosecutions rejected by a judge and grand juries. Wiles says, I don't think he wakes up thinking about retribution, but when there's an opportunity, he will go for it. In response to the interview, President Trump also says that Susie Wiles has done a fantastic job. Wiles herself calls this reporting in these articles from Vanity Fair disingenuous, saying that it's a framed hit piece. But she does not dispute any of her quotes, and Vanity Fair says they're all on the record and they are all recorded, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the record, it's recorded. Not much you can say about that, Rachel. All right, thank you. We're going to turn now to WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu. The high-profile athlete's home was broken into, and Sam, you are sounding the alarm on this.
Yeah, add another name to the list now, Michael, because good morning. Sabrina Ionescu joins the roster of high-profile athletes with frightening home break-ins. Now, police in Los Angeles say they responded to the home of the New York Liberty star on Monday night after a security alarm was activated. 2 people smashing through a glass door and got away with several handbags worth about $60,000. Now, neither Ionescu or her husband, former NFL lineman Hronis Grasu, was home at the time. It is the latest in an alarming pattern of burglaries. On Sunday, surveillance video capturing several people breaking into the Nashville home of Titans player Jeffrey Simmons while he was playing in California. Now, remember in November, while he was making his NFL debut, burglars broke into the Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders' home, stealing about $200,000 worth of property. So last year, NFL star Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow were also victims. This just seems to continue.
Yeah,
It does.
And it's one thing to not post online, but if you're playing in a game, it's hard for people to not be aware you're not
People
home.
know you're not there. Yeah.
All right, Sam, thank you.
Sure.
We're going to turn now to the NBA Cup overnight. And Lara, you got all the action. I love, by the way, they called him crafty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a perfect story for you, Lara.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But well done. All right, so this is the 3rd year of this mid-season tournament played by all 30 teams in the league. And guess who came out on top? Our very own New York Knicks. Superfan Spike Lee bringing the good vibes to Vegas as the Knicks played the San Antonio Spurs in the final. The Spurs and Victor Wembanyama led most of the game until New York went on a scoring run late in the 3rd quarter. They took the lead. They never looked back. OG Anunoby finished the game with 28 points, while Jalen Brunson had 25, earning him MVP honors for the whole tournament. And there was more than just a title on the line here. Each player, guys, takes home on the winning team, takes home about $530,000. $530,000. That's a big deal. That's a nice little paycheck. Now the Knicks hope to continue this momentum in the regular season with their eyes on the biggest prize, the NBA title. They're hoping to become the first team to win both in the same season. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be. Will is over there smiling like I'm smiling. And my guys Spike Lee and Al Palagonia, they represented New York very well out there in Vegas for the Cup. It was good to see them win.
Yes,
and $530,000 is a nice paycheck, but a pay cut for the NBA players.
Oh,
I'm not mad at them. Good for them. All right. I can't dunk. Okay, coming up with flu numbers on the rise. We're breaking down everything you need to know with millions about to be on the move for the holiday season.
Also ahead, Janae Norman is here, and she has the alleged porch pirate shooting. Janae.
Hey, Rebecca, good morning. Porch piracy costs Americans billions of dollars a year. This time of year is especially concerning, but now one Georgia man is facing charges for allegedly trying to protect his delivery. We've got the details coming up.
And Will Reeve has the latest on a wild police chase, Will.
Yeah, that's right, George. Good morning. A stolen Ferrari here weaving through the streets of Miami. Police in hot pursuit. It led to a power outage. All that and more coming up new at 7:30.
We coming back. We have the grown polar bear family. It's getting even cuter just in time for holidays. You have to see it. Here's this story. Oh, there he is right there. How amazing is that? Wow.
Welcome back to GMA. That is a small glimpse of Michael's trip to the polar bear capital of the world. And we have a polar bear update this morning.
Yeah, we do. They're cute. Just don't get too close. What you see, I'm up there in that truck. But we do have a heartwarming story. It is coming up in our play of the day, and you do not want to miss. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We are looking forward to that. Now, Will has the headlines new at 7:30, starting with the Bondi Beach shooting.
Yeah, that's right, George. Good morning. That is where we begin at 7:30 today. Overnight, police in Australia say they have charged the suspected gunman in the Bondi Beach massacre with 15 counts of murder after they spoke with the 24-year-old in the hospital. Meanwhile, the hero, who was wounded while disarming one of the gunmen, received a surprise visit at his hospital bed from Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who told Ahmed Al-Ahmed his, quote, courage is inspiring for putting his own life at risk to save others. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says he will not release the full unedited video of a September strike on a suspected drug boat that left 11 people dead. Hegseth says the video is top secret and will show it to lawmakers on the House and Senate Armed Services Committees, but not to the general public. And look here at this video. It's a police chase through the streets of Miami. It was Tuesday morning, a wild scene here. Surveillance video capturing the moment a stolen 2024 Ferrari slams into a light pole. It sends sparks into the air. A transformer explodes and causes a power outage. Police say a Rolls-Royce was also stolen, and the Ferrari thief was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and then booked into jail. And the Powerball jackpot feels like it's a daily update at this point. No winner yet. It sits at $1.25 billion. And if someone wins tonight, that'll be the 6th largest jackpot in Powerball history. And the odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in 292 million.
Got a chance.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. I've been playing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like you won life's lottery, though.
Who says you have to stop winning, Will?
That's true. Spoken like a true champ there.
Okay. Will, thank you. We're going to turn now to the murder of an MIT physics professor in his home right outside of Boston. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Tercy's trying to let us on that. And Aaron, the investigators are pretty quick to decouple this from what was happening at Brown.
They happened so close together, but at this point, George, the authorities do not think there's any connection between what happened at Brown and what happened to Nuno Loureiro. He was an esteemed astrophysicist, a husband and father, and this morning there is an urgent hunt for his killer. Police said Loureiro was shot in his home Monday night, pronounced dead Tuesday morning. Eyewitnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots, finding Loureiro in the entryway of a 3-story brick building in upscale Brookline, where violent crime is rare. A crowd gathering outside the professor's home overnight. Students were seen consoling their professor's family. MIT called Loureiro's death a shocking loss. The university saying our deepest sympathies are with his family, students, colleagues, and all those who are grieving. And again, guys, even though this shooting happened just days after the tragedy at Brown, there is no known connection between the two incidents.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much.
Yeah, very upsetting for the family, I'm sure. Thank you, Aaron. Going to turn now to the Georgia man facing charges after allegedly shooting 2 teenagers who he says tried to steal a package from his porch. Janae Norman is here with more. Good morning, Janae.
Michael, good morning. To be clear, this guy's the homeowner. Police believe the teens were shot during a property crime. They believe that the teens were trying to steal a package from this guy's house. But as of this morning, those teens are still recovering and they're not facing any charges.
This morning, a man facing charges after police say he shot 2 alleged would-be porch pirates. Rakeem Bradford, accused of shooting the 15 and 16-year-olds who had allegedly planned to steal a package from his front porch.
Our investigation has determined that we believe a property crime was occurring, that some packages were being taken off of a front porch, which is not uncommon this time of year. And the homeowner did discharge his weapon to stop that theft of the packages.
Both teens are expected to survive, but Bradford now facing 2 counts of aggravated assault.
In this particular case, this is not a reasonable use of force because in Georgia, although you are allowed to protect your property, you are not allowed to use deadly force unless there is either someone breaking into your home or there's a forcible felony that's about to be committed.
An estimated 58 million packages were stolen in the U.S. last year, costing up to $16 billion in losses. And this time of year, homeowners are increasingly worried about their deliveries as many ship holiday gifts.
So the homeowner reportedly shot 1 teen in the foot, the other in the arm. Some neighbors tell our local affiliate, WSB TV, that they're sick of out-of-control teens, so they understand where that homeowner was coming from. Others say shooting teens over a package was just too much, guys.
Yeah, heavy outcome there. Okay, Janae, thank you. We're going to turn now to the latest on the growing flu numbers. Cases are surging here in New York earlier than expected, and with so many planning to travel and gather with their families for the holidays, we've got our expert team here to help keep you healthy, and we're starting with you, Rhiannon Alley. Good morning, Rhiannon. Tell us what's happening here.
Hey, Rebecca. Yes, it is ramping up. We're talking 3 million people already have confirmed cases of the flu across the country, and at least 1,200 people have died so far. Cases are expected to rise even higher than that, as you mentioned, as people gather for the holidays. And places like Louisiana, Colorado, and New York have been hit especially hard. Some communities here in the Northeast registered the highest level of the flu cases in the country. At one private school in Brooklyn, New York, at least 200 students stayed home sick or were sent home with flu-like symptoms. And in Texas, seeing a 3rd straight week with at least 5,000 hospital and clinic visits, that is double the amount of just last year. Now, the dominant strain of the flu virus that is circulating this season is a new variant. It is known as subclade K. Its mutations are likely responsible for this sharp rise in activity that's been seen abroad. And we're already seeing officials across the country taking action in an effort to slow the spread. School districts around the country are moving to remote learning or even dismissing for break early. One in Kansas had 25 to 35% of its students call out sick on Monday. Some had the flu and even RSV. And at hospitals, patients, visitors, and healthcare staffers are having to wear masks again, while others, like Detroit Medical Center, have even started limiting the number of visitors, guys.
Okay, Rhiannon, thanks. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is here. Tell us more about this new variant.
We've been talking about this a lot, and you heard from Rhiannon. The CDC has sampled here in this country, and the majority are coming back H3N2, with majority of the H3N2 being that subclade K. We know that that has undergone about 7 mutations over the course of the summer, so it is not a perfect match for the current flu vaccine. That being said, data from the UK shows us that the vaccine can decrease hospitalizations in kids by about 70 to 75%, in adults by about 30 to 40%. We know that we're already seeing cases here in this country. You heard almost 3 million infected with the flu, 30,000 hospitalizations, 1,200 deaths. Last season here was a difficult one, 500,000 hospitalizations, the worst since 2010, and 288 pediatric deaths. So really important for people to get the vaccine, especially before travel coming up. It takes about 2 weeks to build up those antibodies.
And you said it. All of this is coming to a head just as people are gearing up to travel. Gio and Gio, our transportation correspondent Gio is here. How can people help protect themselves, Gio?
Well, remember, we've seen record travel numbers, right? 82 million people traveling for Thanksgiving, the most ever, most of them by car, of course, but many by air. So if you're going through the airport, one nice new option is that touch-free security lane that takes a picture of your face and compares it to your government photo. You have to opt into this option with your airline, so check with them to see how you do that. This also is usually the fastest lane, so that's nice. And once you get on board, here's what I do on every flight. A flight attendant usually gives you one of those alcohol wipes, but bring some of your own if you want. Wipe down the armrest, the tray table, touch screen if there's one, the seat belt, the air vent, basically any major touch points. As far as a mask, obviously they're not required, but bring one anyway because sometimes the person next to you might be coughing, so you can put that on. And of course, if you might be sick, either don't travel at all or at least wear that mask.
Yeah, great advice there. All right. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Doc. And thank you, Rhiannon.
An update on the Matthew Perry case. The second of 2 doctors who pleaded guilty in connection with Perry's overdose death is learning his fate. Blair's here with the details.
And George, Dr. Mark Chavez pled guilty last year to conspiracy to distribute ketamine, admitting that he illegally supplied the drug to Perry. He was facing up to 10 years behind bars, but yesterday he avoided prison entirely. Mark Chavez, the second doctor convicted in the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry, is avoiding prison altogether.
My heart goes out to the Perry family.
Chavez sentenced to 8 months of home detention, 3 years of supervised release, and 300 hours of community service after admitting to illegally providing Perry with large amounts of the powerful anesthetic ketamine.
We believe that this is a fair and just outcome for this case.
Prosecutors say Chavez, along with fellow doctor Salvador Plasencia, took advantage of Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. Perry writing candidly in his 2022 memoir that ketamine felt like a giant exhale.
Taking K is like being hit in the head with a giant happy shovel. But the hangover was rough and outweighed the shovel.
5 defendants in the case have all pleaded guilty. Salvador Plasencia sentenced earlier this month to 2.5 years. Although neither Plasencia nor Chavez provided the fatal dose of ketamine to Perry, prosecutors say their conduct as doctors was egregious.
The different roles between the 2 doctors is that one was considered the ringleader. He solicited the patient, being Matthew Perry. On the other hand, Dr. Chavez was a supplier of the ketamine to Dr. Plasencia. He was not interacting with Matthew Perry.
And Chavez has already surrendered his passport and given up his medical license. 3 other defendants will be sentenced next year for their roles in Perry's death, including so-called ketamine queen Javine Sangha, who potentially faces decades behind bars. Her sentencing is on February 25th, guys.
All right. Thank you, Lara.
It is time now for our play of the day. And Sam, you're here with this great story, man.
Michael, this has a lot to do with you. When you took us up into, what was it, Manitoba in 2022? Yep. And we saw the polar bears up there. So it's the U.S. polar bear capital, or it's the polar bear capital of the world. And now this family has a brand new holiday card with 2 babies. Meet polar bear mom, X33991. All right, that sounds unkind. So for the rest of this story, I'm just going to call her Babs. This spring, when she emerged from hibernation, she had a young cub. And it was tagged by the organization Polar Bears International. Now, here's the mystery. This fall, during the annual polar bear migration, researchers spotted her with 2 cubs. But how? There's no possible way this mom could have mated and birthed a second baby so quickly, so there's only one possible answer. She adopted a cub along the way. Now, this is only, and it's so unusual, the 13th time researchers have seen this after tracking more than 4,600 polar bears in this region for over 45 years. So that's an amazing thing. It's also important news. The survival rate for any polar bear cub is only 50% when they're born, and a polar bear cub cannot survive in the wild without a mom. Experts say polar bears do not adopt cubs unless they are truly abandoned. Genetic samples are being analyzed to find out the parentage of the adopted cub. Happy holidays to this growing polar bear family. Yeah, to Babs. How was it up there? Was
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, if you've never done it, it's always been a dream of mine to see the polar bears. And I must say, they are a lot bigger than you think if you look at them on TV. They are huge, but they are really beautiful and a very, very interesting animal. So
But
I had
you
a
got to
great
keep
time
your
up there.
distance.
You have to keep your distance, George. And then when you're there in the town, everybody keeps their car doors unlocked in case you're walking around and you see a polar bear. You
jump
get in
in.
the car, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Fun facts.
Okay.
So you can either, look for an open car or just hang out with somebody slower than you. All right. With that being said, coming up, the star of the hit show, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Walker Scobell, is here in studio. We'll be right back.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. New video shows Rob Reiner's son taken into custody moments after he was seen inside a gas station. Nick Reiner now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and new details about how the director and his wife Michelle were found by their daughter.
A fixture on GMA for more than 3 decades, Dr. Tim Johnson is now sharing his own medical story.
I'm quite convinced it will be controlled, maybe even cured.
How he's dealing with the cancer diagnosis and the message he has for men his age.
AI customer service has entered the chat. The chat box, that is. Becky Worley has the top ways to use AI chatbots for your holiday shopping and how it can make returns even faster and hassle-free.
Plus, if you don't know his name, you will.
My name is Percy Jackson.
The hit show, Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
They take care of each other. That's what real heroes do.
And Percy himself, Walker Scobell, is here live.
And Kumail Nanjiani is here, talking about his big return to stand-up.
Is this the behavior of an adult?
As we say, good morning, America.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. It is a good day in the studio when dogs are here, of course. And Larry and Sam have 2 of the puppies looking for their forever homes. The tips you need to know before adopting during the holiday season. We're going to give you all of that. Look at
I'm
those
laughing
cuties.
because I just sent pictures of those puppies to my family saying, how about we bring a 3rd home?
And you need another one?
Resounding no on the text.
Oh, well, I'm sure somebody will want to bring them home because they are adorable.
Yes, they are.
Including Larry and Sam. Also ahead, the new study about couples and heart health.
First, look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with the latest in the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner. Their son Nick has now been formally charged with their murders, charges that carry the possibility of the death penalty. Let's go back to Trevor Ault in Los Angeles. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning again, George. So Nick Reiner remains locked up here in jail in downtown Los Angeles, but today he is likely to make his first appearance in court now that he is formally charged in his parents' murders. And we have obtained video of the moment he was taken into custody Sunday night, hours after the Reiners were found dead in their home.
This morning, we're seeing new video of the moment Nick Reiner, son of director Rob Reiner, was taken into custody.
Reiner seen with his hands in the air, LAPD officers and U.S. Marshals swarming into that intersection, putting Reiner on the ground and handcuffing him. Just moments before this new video shows him inside a gas station, the scene playing out just hours after his parents were found stabbed to death. A Los Angeles district attorney has now charged Nick Reiner with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
These are some of the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring against anyone.
The DA says Nick Reiner killed his parents with a knife. According to the New York Times, a massage therapist called Romy when no one answered at the Reiners' home. Romy then came over with her roommates, went inside, and found her father's body. Nick has now hired high-profile defense attorney Alan Jackson, who said Tuesday Nick Reiner has not yet been medically cleared for court.
Every single inmate goes through a medical clearance before they can be transported to court. Every one of them.
Sources say Saturday night, Nick Reiner and his father got into an argument at Conan O'Brien's holiday party, where Nick was described as acting strangely.
And you heard the DA talk about how serious these charges are. If Nick Reiner were to be convicted of these first-degree murder charges, he could face the possibility of life in prison without parole or even potentially the death penalty. Rebecca?
Very serious there. All right, Trevor, thank you. We're going to turn now to the holidays. Christmas is just over a week away, and we've reached another deadline to get those packages delivered on time. Elizabeth Schulze has the details for us. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Rebecca. This is a big one. It's now officially the last day to use ground shipping for holiday gifts. That's the cheapest option if you want your package to arrive by Christmas Eve. The U.S. Postal Service says today's the deadline for ground shipping and for first-class mail. Check your local post office hours. A lot of those branches do close at 5 p.m. Also, you want to send those packages with UPS Ground and FedEx 5-day ground shipping by end of day today. If you wait just one day later, you will have to use priority mail, or there's more expensive expedited options with UPS and FedEx. Now, shipping deadlines for major retailers also creeping up fast here. Standard shipping with Target and Best Buy, it can take up to 5 days, so probably best to put your order in by this Friday. For Amazon, aim for the 22nd for 2-day shipping with Prime. Walmart says you can place orders up until 12:30 p.m. local time on December 23rd with standard shipping, and packages will still arrive by Christmas Day. And if you are really trying to procrastinate here, there is the option of ordering online, picking up in store. Some of those retailers will have same-day pickup available as late as 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Michael.
Yeah, that's really procrastinating. 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
Probably best not to wait.
All right, thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. We're going to turn now to a GMA Health Alert on heart disease. New research suggests couples can build healthier heart habits when they make lifestyle changes together. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is back with the latest. And Doc, good morning to you. And you must see this every day as a cardiologist. So tell us about this research.
I do. I kind of love this study, I got to be honest. So we know that cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death for men and women. And we talk a lot about traditional risk factors, blood pressure, cholesterol, but not so much about those psychosocial factors like social support and strong relationships, which we know from research over the last 10 to 15 years helps protect our hearts, helps protect us against cardiovascular disease, hospitalization, and even death. On the flip side, when we don't have social support and we are more lonely, we know that that endangers us. And so in particular, we know that any social support is valuable, but spouses and intimate partners seem to be the most valuable potentially, and particularly when those are good, high-quality relationships. There's warmth and affection and real care and concern. So in this study, researchers looked at 12 trials of about 1,000 patients who had heart disease, mostly men with female partners. Then they looked at what happened if they gave them couple interventions, where they educated them about health and healthy behaviors and their heart disease. And they found that positive findings occurred in about 77% of those studies when it came to health behaviors. So, for example, quitting smoking, exercising, eating healthier. 63% of the studies had positive findings when it came to mental health outcomes. When it came to cardiac outcomes, the data was still a little bit uncertain. They also said we certainly need more research where the women are patients with male partners, LGBTQ plus couples, different sexes and races and different races and ethnicities. But the bottom line is this really points in the direction of we should be treating potentially the couple and not just the patient, both to improve patient outcomes, but also the partner may learn health behaviors that are helpful and how to support them in their caregiving journey as well.
But how can they support each other if they have different issues or different routines?
I see this a lot. First of all, I see couples many times come into my office together. And when you see that, you recognize that there is value here in terms of the emotional support, the psychological support. And we know that even hugging and touching can release oxytocin and decrease cortisol. So things that partners can do, certainly coming to appointments together or cardiac rehab, making at least one healthy choice together, maybe walking together each day or cooking together, working on their mental health and the mental health of their relationship through therapy. These are some things that couples can do that can be helpful.
A lot of good advice.
Good
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's easier when you're in it together.
It is. So you're all in good shape.
And we can tell you love this study, Doctor.
I love love. So.
Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, Dr. Tim Johnson, GMA's former medical editor, now a patient himself. He's sharing the story of his cancer diagnosis.
Also ahead, The Muppet Show is coming back 50 years after debuting right here on ABC, and we got a first look at the brand new special.
Plus, Walker Scobell, star of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, is here to tell us all about the monsters he's battled on the show. And Larry Sandler with some very funny guests. Hey, guys.
Oh, yes, we are. We've been watching Kumail Nanjiani for years on TV and in the movies. Now he's doing something he hasn't done in more than a decade.
Not only signing our wall, right under Bob Iger right there, which is a good spot.
Call me Bob.
But it's the special. Night Thoughts. Is that the thoughts that wake you up like...
Yeah, 3 a.m. when you can't sleep and your brain's like, here's something new for you to worry about.
Oh, good. All right.
Night
so
thoughts.
we'll give you lots more of those when we come back on TV.
And maybe some day thoughts.
The year 2025. Unimaginable, historic, awe-inspiring, extraordinary. Now, Monday night, December 29th.
2025.
2025.
2025 was...
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wild.
Oh my gosh, wow. Insane in the best way.
We're running the whole year back.
This year in Celebrity Trials was wild. If they said baby oil one more time.
From the obsessions.
Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce.
K-pop Demon Hunters. I love Lady Gaga.
To what we can't stop talking about.
You cannot script this.
And can you say...
6'7"? 6'7", I don't know what it is.
Don't have a clue.
The celebrities in love.
Taylor got engaged. I'm like doing a happy dance all day for her.
And out of love.
Who leaves Nicole Kidman?
2025 was...
epic.
It's wild.
Wow.
It's the year 2025 with Robin Roberts.
Oh, what a year.
Monday night, December 29th at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Oof, welcome back to GMA. You know, it's not time for New Year until we see Robin's special, The Year. Yep. It's fun to remember the big events along with those, you know, oh yeah, that was this year type of moments as well. But the 15th annual primetime special of The Year airs on Monday, December 29th, and we're all really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's always great. We're going to turn now to our GMA cover story. Longtime GMA viewers will remember Dr. Tim Johnson, our chief medical editor for more than 3 decades. Yep. Now Dr. Tim is facing his own health battle with prostate cancer. He spoke about it with Will Reeve. Hey, Will.
He did. So, George, prostate PSA is a protein made by the prostate. Rising levels can indicate prostate cancer. Current medical guidelines don't recommend that men over the age of 70 should be getting their PSA tested regularly. Dr. Tim had followed the guidelines, but at a recent checkup, he asked for a PSA test anyway, and he got a scary result. And now Dr. Tim is sharing his story and his belief that they could have caught it earlier with different guidelines.
For 35 years, Dr. Timothy Johnson was America's doctor as chief medical editor at Good Morning America.
Hodgepodge of private and public insurance plans.
Dispensing advice on topics ranging from health care coverage to prostate cancer.
We have to stress the importance of a rectal examination as part of any routine physical examination in men over age 40.
Dr. Tim, as he's known, is 89 now. And this time, he's the patient, sharing his own diagnosis of prostate cancer here at his longtime professional home.
You've covered so many medical stories over the years. Did you ever think that you would be telling a medical story about yourself?
No, absolutely not. In fact, when this first came up, I decided I shouldn't, but very quickly thought this could be a teaching moment. And my story is very simple. In my last Medicare annual exam, walking out the door, I said to my doctor, a friend, let's throw in a PSA just for the heck of it. And it came back 13.7, which is much higher than it should be. I was stunned. I was absolutely shocked.
The shock came because current screening guidelines recommend against routine PSA screening for most men after age 70. It's thought prostate cancer often grows slowly, and most older men die with it, not from it. But now it's spread to Dr. Tim's lymph nodes.
I'm quite convinced it will be controlled, maybe even cured. But if I'd gotten a PSA much earlier, it would be much more simple, the treatment, much easier, the treatment.
Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, excluding skin cancer, and the second leading cause of cancer death for men in the U.S. behind lung cancer. Yet the evidence in favor of prostate cancer screenings in older men is mixed. The lack of prostate cancer screening may be missing cancer in older men who really need treatment, but no recognized medical society recommends screening above age 70, including the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force.
Let's say you had gotten the test when you were 75 and then 76, 77. What would your outlook and potential outcomes be now?
So presumably I would have noticed it creeping up year to year, and that would have triggered some tests to see if there was cancer there. And if there was cancer there causing the higher PSAs, we would have treated it very simply, probably with very focal radiation, and that would have been it. But now, because it's more advanced, we have to do some anti-androgen therapy, anti-testosterone therapy, and then probably some radiation. That's probably the plan.
And you feel good about the plan?
I do. I'm very optimistic.
Optimism matters as you're fighting something, right?
I think so, but science counts even more.
Dr. Tim is back on GMA to advocate for men of a certain age, despite those mixed recommendations.
If you're over 70, but you're healthy, your mind is intact, get a yearly PSA for a while, and if they stay low, maybe every 2 years, maybe every 3 years, but don't wait 14 years like I did.
We should note this is Dr. Tim's personal medical opinion. Medical practices do change over time. For example, the digital exam is no longer recommended as a screening test because of a lack of evidence on the benefits, and screening for men over age 70 should be a personal decision made in consultation with your doctor, weighing the risks and benefits. But as Dr. Tim said, optimism plus science, that's a great combo. We wish him all the best.
We absolutely do.
So good
He
to
looks
see
great.
him again.
And sounds great. He's with it.
Yeah.
It was a joy to spend an afternoon
Hi,
with him.
Dr. Tim.
Hi, Dr. Tim.
All right, we're going to turn now to new ways to use customer service chatbots as holiday shopping enters the final stretch, and Becky Worley has that story, a very real Becky Worley. Good morning, Becky.
Not AI, Becky, but using a retailer's website, Rebecca, is great. Sometimes, though, you have questions or a complicated return that makes you think that you probably have to schlep into the store. But AI is being built into so many e-commerce sites, and now there are smarter ways to get these tasks done online and save you time and money. If you've shopped online, at some point you've needed help from customer service. And that's where AI is entering the chat. Or, in this case, entering with a chat bot. Big companies like Lululemon, Pandora Jewelry, and Williams-Sonoma are constantly honing these customer service chatbots. I went to Dreamforce, the largest AI event in the world, where Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff gives me tips about the AI agents that tools from his company run in the background of thousands of e-commerce sites. His first piece of advice: give these AI agents a chance. I tried a lot of these agents when they first came out, and sometimes they just couldn't do the job. Have they gotten better?
The technology is moving very fast. It's literally getting better every single day, and it learns more the more that you use it.
Next, whenever you talk to an AI agent, make sure you're logged in so they have your history, like if you have to send a product back.
You will just say, I'm initiating a return, and it's going to start. The process will start, and it knows you because you've already been working with that company.
And many bots these days can authorize a return or track your shipment without ever escalating to a person. So, I need my delivery split, or where's my order? Those are things that the AI agent can help you with. Now remember, these aren't search engines. Ask questions like you're talking to a human.
Talk to it, just use your own language. Just speak to it like we're speaking right now.
And many bots speak other languages, so you could try your native tongue if that's more comfortable. Finally, these AI agents are just the first level of customer service.
If at some point it's not working, if you're using Salesforce's system, at any moment you can always say, please escalate me to a human. They just want to make sure you're happy.
Now, these customer service agents are everywhere. Amazon has Rufus and Walmart has Sparky. And I know that we all think, ugh, automated customer service, but I'm actually rethinking that because first, AI works 24/7, so you can solve your problem day, night, weekend, anytime. And if it can solve a simple problem for you, like tracking a shipment or a return, and you don't need to engage a human customer service rep, that means that more actual humans and people are able to deal with complex problems for others, guys.
I got a follow-up, Becky. Do you say please and thank you to the AI chatbot?
I do. I think they might have a memory.
We're all preparing for the day the robots take over. All right, Becky. Play nice.
Good follow-up. Good follow-up. That's a big moment for me. Pop News with Lara Spencer.
Thank you very much, Samuel. We begin this morning with awards season and the movies you should be watching if you want to be up to speed on the big films of 2025. The Academy revealing their short list of the top movies set to be in the running for the Oscars. Sinners and Wicked for Good, leading the list of most category mentions, including casting, cinematography. Also, James Cameron's Avatar, Fire and Ash on the short list in 4 categories, including Best Cinematography. Miley Cyrus's Dream as One. This song is on the short list for Best Original Song. And another one, this one's for the kids. K-pop Demon Hunter is on the short list, guys, for its hit Golden. Now, these are the not official nominations. They're just some of the finalists for nominated categories. And it's a great list of films to enjoy over the holidays if you want to be up to speed. The official Academy Awards nominees will be announced Thursday, January 22nd, right here on GMA. And the 98th annual Oscars airs March 15th, 7 p.m. on ABC. Guys,
I am
so there
very
you
up
have
to
it.
speed on K-pop Demon Hunter.
Oh, me too now.
Aren't we all?
Up to speed.
Yeah, love them.
All right, so also popping this morning, it's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights.
That's
right, it's time to meet the Muppets on
the Muppet Show tonight.
So, guys, it's not tonight, it's February. That's when the beloved Muppet Show returns to the small screen, coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the original TV series. The whole gang will be back with a special event filled with music, comedy, and chaos at the original Muppet Theater. And here's an exclusive first look. Seth Rogen executive producing, Sabrina Carpenter starring and executive producing. The Muppet Show special event airs February 4th right here on ABC, streaming on Disney+. If you need to catch up, just reminisce maybe, all 5 seasons of The Muppet Show are currently available to stream on Disney+. A great show, so happy to have it back. Bring Pepe back.
Yes.
All right, finally this morning, we have a special holiday edition of Pup News. We only have a minute left, so bring in the puppies.
Let's see,
guys,
buddy.
North Shore Animal League wants everybody to remember, if you're going to give a dog as a gift this year, and up here, you little gorgeous, if you're going to give a gift of a puppy, do us a favor, get a collar, and then go pick out the dog together to make sure that you get the right dog. These dogs with us today are all adoptable at North Shore America. They are just a wonderful mix. You can see they're super chill. I love this beautiful boy. I have all their names for you. We'll put them on the website. I'm not going to go through them right now because I know that we're running short. But we do want to say, do consider just putting like a leash or a collar under the tree. Don't put a dog under the tree because returns do happen after the holidays. So just be thoughtful about that. And then also, North Shore Animal League is doing a very special thing right now. They've got like some free adoption stuff. Check out their website.
Welcome back to GMA, live from New York City.
And welcome back to Kumail Nanjiani, the Emmy and Oscar-nominated actor, returning to the stand-up stage. Great to have him back here. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you.
We clapped for our guests.
Yeah, that was. I was hoping it was just for me. It is. And now it's meaningless that you say you clap for everyone. Who did you not want to clap for and you still clap?
This is an interview with you, not with me. That's
I was going to say, answer that. We could keep going for a while. Congratulations. Night Thoughts just got nominated for Golden Globes. That's great. What's it like to be back on stage?
Oh, it's really exciting, you know, because when you're acting in like a movie or a TV show, when I finish a movie, my friends are like, how was it? I was like, I'll find out in a year when I watch it with you.
Right.
With this, you know immediately if it works or not. The feedback is like right then. So that's really, really exciting. Like I know immediately if that was a successful show or not. Whereas, you know, here you wait a year for reviews and stuff.
But you really get vulnerable in this.
I try to, you know, because I didn't do it for like 10 years. So when I came back, I was like, the goal is going to be like completely vulnerable, as naked as I can be. And I did not want to say that, but I couldn't find another way to say it. I am wearing actual clothes. Don't get excited.
Well, let's take a look.
When little baby Bagel was 8, I took her to the vet, and the vet was like, you know the thing with geriatric cats is, and I was like, what do you mean geriatric? It's a little baby, look at her. That's a little baby. Write down baby on your stupid chart. I have a question for you. Are you an idiot? Pull out a laser pointer. Is this the behavior of an adult?
Wow, very protective of that little baby. Bagel?
Yeah, Bagel, yeah. And she, not to bring it down, she has passed since I recorded that, so that whole special is now dedicated to her. But yeah, I mean, you know, I was like, I want to talk about everything that's difficult to talk about. So her being sick for years, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about everything.
Well, you also talked a little bit about feedback about your physique, specifically in the Eternals. Will you share?
You know, people had a weird reaction to it. They decided I'd be the first person that they'd like mock for getting in shape. I was like, why me? Everybody else got applause like they were coming on GMA. For me, they were like, we have notes. Why? You know how hard it is?
Oh, yeah, I do, man.
They should have told me before I did it. We're not going to like you if you do it.
So do you think they prefer you not fit?
I don't know. I don't care anymore.
You look great. You look great.
I know, really great.
Yeah.
Like,
Was it fun to get in shape like that?
I did. I really love it. I still work out. It's like so good for anxiety. I sleep better, and you know, it's just like the feeling of actually making progress in something.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, you're like, I
And
couldn't
you
do
can
this last
control
week.
it.
You control it. I do it every day. Like I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with it.
So do you keep pictures of yourself around the house just for like motivation? Because honestly,
Because
there are
Sam
pictures
does.
of you everywhere right now.
Do you have pictures of yourself?
Oh yeah, it's as soon as you walk in the foyer, it's like me going like that. I mean, it's my house. Why can't I? No, but seriously, when I look at the phone, there are pictures. You're everywhere. You're in every project.
Yeah, I try to be. I try to be everywhere. No, I don't. I have pictures of myself on my phone, you know, but not like up. I think my wife would leave. She sees enough of me.
Well, people can't get enough of you, and you are back at Sundance. First time since The Big Sick.
Yeah, so we went there for The Big Sick, which is a movie that Emily and I wrote and produced based on our true story. And then a friend of ours came to us a few years ago, and he'd never written a movie, and he wanted to write about something that had happened in his life. And so we sort of did what Judd Apatow had done for us, which is we sort of guided him through the process of writing it. We attached a director, we cast the movie. And it got into Sundance, so we're going back to Sundance. It's the last time it's going to be happening in actual Sundance. So really, really special to be going
I love
back.
that pay it forward.
That's what we tried to do. You know, I mean, Judd took such a chance on us. He didn't have to, you know. If it wasn't for him, we would have gotten to make that movie. So we wanted to use, you know, what juice we had to pay it forward, as you said.
Oh, that is great. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Night Thoughts premieres Friday on Hulu and Disney+.
Now on GMA with the hit show Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Season 1 was the biggest streaming premiere ever for Disney+, and that's saying a lot. And now family, they're sitting down and enjoying season 2 together, and we have a clip from the new episode. Let's check it out.
You know what I think? I think we've had a rough couple of days. We're stowaways on a cruise ship. I say we check out the pool or the arcade or the buffet.
Monsters. I saw monsters on the ship.
Monsters. Plural?
Oh, and Percy Jackson himself, Walker Scobell, joins us now in our Percy Jackson-inspired set. Making you feel at home with this set, by the way, my friend. But you know what? Which monster, I'm just curious. Thank you for being here. Which monster is the hardest for you to fight against this season?
I think in season 2 specifically, maybe there was this massive monster. His name's Charybdis, and we're on this boat, and I don't really necessarily fight him, but I'm kind of fighting. He's like he creates a whirlpool, and we're on a boat, and I'm trying to get us out of there. And oh yeah, that one. And they had these water jets, and they're shooting it in our faces the entire time to to show that there's these powerful waves. So I guess that was the most difficult because we filmed it for a couple weeks.
Whoa. And that was you. And you had a lot of action sequences and chariot races. I love that you're doing chariot races before you have your driver's license.
Yep, I was a little shocked when I failed. I mean, I wasn't shocked. I'm not a great driver. But when we got here, I didn't actually assume that we were going to do the chariot races, with me. But it was kind of a surprise.
But you showed up and they said, hey, jump on a chariot.
I did a little bit of a drive around the corner, but I quickly, once I saw the stunt actors doing it, I realized why they didn't want me to do that. It's crazy.
And we know Lin-Manuel Miranda, he plays Hermes, the Greek messenger god. And what was it like working with him? And I'm just curious, did he break out in song between the scenes?
Actually, kind of.
Really?
Occasionally. He'll do a little thing. You never know. You never know. He'll do something different, and it's really difficult for me to keep it together when I'm filming with him. And
It's not all Hamilton?
Not all Hamilton. He comes up with different stuff all the time. It's crazy how he comes up with that stuff.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Well, we have a question from a super fan.
Hi, my name is Jaja, and I would like to ask you a question. Do you ever get scared when you fight the monsters in your show?
Ooh.
Oh.
That's a good question. All the time. I mean, since this season, they're all last season it was a lot of CGI monsters. This season, a lot of them are actually there. And I get scared at the beginning, but most of the people that play them are super nice and they're funny. And they're really goofy in between takes, so it kind of, I have to start pretending that they're really scary pretty quickly.
Is it like visiting a haunted house?
In a lot of ways, yeah. Especially, I mean, this whole thing is insane. We filmed on something like this for season 1, where it was they would create an entire set with all these screens. It was insane.
Yeah, the studio, it actually works out great. I feel like I'm a part of the show right now, to be honest with you. You can cast us anytime you want. Hey,
that'd be awesome.
It depends on who you ask. Well, and congratulations are in order because January 5th, you're turning 17. That's right, yes. And we hear that, we have an early birthday present for you because we know that Percy Jackson likes blue food. We have, come on, bring them out. We have blue M&Ms for you. Yeah, all blue, just
Someone spent a lot of time removing all the other colors.
But we understand that you're celebrating your 17th birthday by going back to work shooting season 3. That's how you're doing it? Go ahead, take your time, shoot.
Those are pretty good.
So you're celebrating at work?
I mean, I don't really like I don't like having birthday parties, so it's kind of my favorite way to celebrate it, I guess, and with the whole crew, and we're in the middle of filming it, so it's we had to stop and come out here and do the press tour, which has been amazing, but I'm excited to see everybody again, especially that's a great birthday gift for me, I guess, and yeah.
But
I'm sorry,
cool.
I'm nervous. It's crazy.
You'll be around people who love you, people enjoy working with you, and that's the best way to spend any kind of birthday or any kind of celebration. And next time you come back, we're going to celebrate you having the driver's license, man.
Yes,
all right,
we
how
are.
about that? That's right. And new seasons of new episodes of Percy Jackson and the Olympians are rolling out every Wednesday on Disney Plus. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. We appreciate you. Happy birthday! Enjoy those M&Ms.
Welcome back, and time now for our new series, The New Faces of Cancer. And these faces are actually younger than you can even imagine. More young people are being diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and cases in people of color are also on the rise.
These are the new faces of colon cancer. Young people under age 50 fighting for their lives in the prime of life.
When I started, we were seeing the majority of our patients under 50 were in their 40s. And I think now we're seeing more and more patients in their 30s, 20s.
Colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of death in men under the age of 50 and second among women in the same age. Millennials born in the 1990s who aren't even eligible for screening colonoscopies now have twice the risk compared to those born in the 1950s.
Cancer was never on the radar.
Just ask 44-year-old Kendricks Jones, a dad and former football player from Tampa.
I thought I had the flu and it was lingering for a couple weeks, so that athletic mentality, just want to fight it, get through it, don't need to go to the doctor.
Dismissing his symptoms led to emergency surgery and a diagnosis of stage 4 colon cancer. Kendricks was just 40.
All I could think of is I can't go out like this. I have a family, I have kids, and I have to be there for them.
911 operator Karina Nikajewski thought her ulcerative colitis explained her symptoms. But at 29, the Florida native was diagnosed with stage 3 rectal cancer.
I like to think I'm lucky that I got it young because other than the ulcerative colitis, I'm active, I'm as healthy as I can be.
Chase Jones did seek help for his symptoms, but a CT scan came back inconclusive. Later, he learned a cancerous tumor was blocking his colon. He was 27 with stage 3 colon cancer.
You assume that you're bulletproof, you're strong as an ox.
But for these survivors, life is going on. Chase has a new baby girl. And today, all 3 have no evidence of cancer with one shared message.
It's not just for older people. It can happen to anyone.
Your body is always telling you things, and you have to listen to the signs. Because for me, as a man, I ignored it.
Don't be afraid or embarrassed or shy away from taking control of your health and advocating for yourself. It's what saved my life.
So even if you're young, talk to your doctor about these things. Finding this early is key. Symptoms of colorectal cancer can often be mistaken for stress or dietary issues, especially in younger and minority communities. So if you're experiencing ongoing abdominal pain, fatigue, something you can't explain, weight loss, or blood in your stool, make sure you go to your doctor. This is important, and young people don't think they're susceptible.
Don't put it off.
Yeah, all right. Coming up after the break, I'm excited about this.
Me too.
Stranger Things, and we've got stars here. So Gaten Matarazzo is here, and Joe Keery, they're here live. Hi, guys. We'll be there in just a second. Getting all the inside information, so will you. Welcome back to our Stranger Things week. It continues on GMA with 2 more of the stars.
Yeah, give it up for Joe Keery and Gaten Matarazzo. Here to talk about the 5th and final season. Welcome to Good Morning America.
Thanks for having us.
So, guys, I understand you guys are going to watch the finale as a group on Friday.
We are.
I think so, yes, indeed.
Emotions on anticipating this? How are you feeling?
Man, yeah, just excited to. He's totally checked out. He hasn't watched any of it.
I've seen a single episode.
You lived it.
Right,
You lived it. No,
but Noah said
excited
it
to
was
see it.
super emotional filming. That the last scenes, very. But now when you see it all put together, is there like a scene that you're most excited to see?
I don't think we can say really.
I can't specify really. I'm excited to see everything as it wraps up. It's definitely, I don't think it's spoilery to say at all that it's one of the bigger episodes of TV, I think, that's been planned in a very long time.
I think people would agree, you know, because everyone's kind of buzzy about it.
Right, well, that's what Noah was saying when I interviewed him, that people will be shocked. You think you know, you don't know.
Yeah, I think. How did he do on this?
Yeah, how was he? Was he all right in the conversation?
That's funny. You should ask him. He was very good.
Very good to hear.
No competition.
I love that guy.
But they all gave us secrets, and we'll see if we can pull more out of you guys.
Yeah,
So
my question was meant to get something right.
I was like, what did he say?
now, in the trailer, you guys make a pretty intense pact. And it's something like if I die, you die, or like, right?
Yeah, classic though.
So
it's a callback.
What I'm finding out about your all's relationships is that your relationships in real life are equally as tight. So do you have a life pact? Like, that is that dark and that sinister?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
No context needed whatsoever.
They took it from us and they actually put it in the show.
Yeah.
Like, man, they just kept saying it. It made everybody uncomfortable. They're like, you don't have to. It's like
just in the show.
Why don't we give everybody a look? This is a clip of the big finale.
Henderson, you copy? Henderson!
Yeah, I copy. God, you sound swell. Let me take a wild guess. You're not calling to wish me a good morning.
Well, no, it's not exactly a good morning. We got kind of a situation down here at the Squawk. The signal, it's gone all wonky.
think Robin may have finally pissed him off.
Doubtful. She was encouraging compliance.
Told you!
The remote radio head's the more likely culprit.
Is the remote what?
Just read the manual, Steve.
Come on, man. That thing might as well be in Greek.
I'm getting like anxiety watching that clip.
Anything you're going to miss about your shooting day, because it's been such a big part of your lives for a
Man,
while?
I think just the cast, probably. We just got to spend so much time together, and, you know, when you spend that much time together, you grow accustomed to working together and just seeing each other. That's just been really kind of a great part of the whole experience, and probably the saddest part about ending the show is we won't have an excuse to, you know, just
hang out.
You know.
Well, are you still rooming? Are you still roomies with Finn?
Not roomies with Finn. That was when we lived in Atlanta.
Because he was talking about your sleeping habits, and he was saying that you would like fall asleep in the middle of playing games, and you'd be asleep like for a day in your clothes.
No.
He told us to ask you to explain.
Okay.
Finn would sleep
Come on.
Finn's sleeping in.
He's not. Yeah, he's not so innocent here in that department.
But, you know.
It's not like I was just okay. Okay.
They had he had a hockey net in the back on the porch. They had a whole.
My shot a little bit. That was fun.
Yeah.
The fridge was vile.
You guys had a good house.
Well, you guys have such a nice bond. It's been really great getting to know you off camera and learning all about sleep habits and other treats. But we really are so very excited about it. Don't want it to end, but we know it's going to be a big finish.
Yeah, we're excited
Thanks for having us.
The first 4 seasons of Stranger Things, season 5 are now streaming on Netflix, followed by volume 2's 3 episodes on Christmas Day and the finale on New Year's Eve. Wow, the rest of the cast is going to be here all week long. It's great and it's fun, but it's kind of sad to say bye.
Becky, it's your turn.
Guys, I want to get into this because they've been so good to us. North Shore Animal League America, we thank you.
Yes.
We have a very special announcement from Chewy. As part of their Chewy Claus holiday program, they're covering adoption fees for North Shore Animal League America throughout the holiday season. And to find a shelter in your area, just go to